Hi, my name's Alison Quinn and I'd like to introduce a webinar on balance. Whenever we are struggling in life, one of the most powerful things that we can do is to try and create balance. It's often a challenge for us, but in fact it actually gives more energy. So I'm going to give you an example with using the balancing grid. Now the balancing grid is kind of a template that we can keep going back to ask ourselves, how balanced is my life right now? So let me show you some of the squares within the balancing grid. So we have the family square. So the family square is, if you can actually copy the grid and then list who are your family members. How much time are you spending with family right now? And really get a sense of the family square. The next square is friends. Given your struggles, have you been isolating? Have you lost contact with some of your friends? Or who have you kept in contact with? So again, making a list of the people in your life that you would include under friends. The next piece with the balancing grid is to really get a sense of how we're spending our alone time. Are we just kind of vegging and not doing anything that is particularly helpful for us? Or are we doing some soothing activities that help us heal a bit or uplift ourselves a little bit? So really getting clear, when I spend time on my own, how am I using that time? The next square is the spiritual square. And when I'm saying spiritual, I'm talking in the broader sense of the word. Spiritual for some people may be lighting a candle, putting on some very soothing music. For others, it may be going to church. And for others, it may be being in nature and just feeling a connection to nature. So how are you feeding yourself spiritually is a really important question about renewing your energy and recharging yourself. The work square is what are you doing between 9 and 5 each day. If you're unable to work right now, how are you structuring your day? What kinds of activities are you doing that would include going under the umbrella of work? Volunteer, now it doesn't have to be a formal volunteer job, but maybe you're walking someone's dog or picking up milk for someone, something that you're doing on a volunteer basis that's actually expanding your sense of self and giving to you on a soul level. Recreation is physical. It's a very important part of balance. Now, given some limitations we might have with physical illnesses or emotional struggles, recreation may be difficult. So for some, it may be a short walk. It may even just be stretching. For others, it may be something more ambitious, like going to the gym or taking a yoga class, or doing something physical that helps release the tension. The critical piece about physical sort of output is that it helps release the emotions that get embodied in our body. Wherever we hold tension is often where we hold emotions that we are unable to work through. So any kind of physical movement, even if it's shaking, you wake up in the morning, you put on some music and you just shake a bit. That's a way of physically releasing some of the emotional buildup. Leisure is how do you spend your leisure time? Listening to music, reading a book, watching a movie. So again, getting really clear on how you spend time regarding leisure. One-on-one relationship, you're either in an intimate relationship or not. So again, getting a sense of satisfaction, how much you're giving and receiving in that relationship. So what I'd like you to do with the balancing grid is the first thing I'd like you to do is to rate each square, so each individual square out of 10, and come up with a score. So for instance, friends, you may not have had much contact with friends lately. So maybe that's 3 out of 10. And so on. So I want you first to rate each square out of satisfaction. 10 being high, it's very satisfying. 1 being really, it's the lowest it could be. The next thing I'd like you to do is get a sense of how many squares are over 5 out of 10. So that gives you a sense of, am I moving towards balance? So if we've got 5 squares or more over 5 out of 10, we're moving towards having balance in our lives. If it's much less, it's letting us know that part of the issue right now might be balance. So getting a sense of your overall satisfaction in terms of balance. The next thing I'd like you to do is choose 1 square that you feel most needs your attention. And if you can set a goal around that square. I mean, say for instance, it's recreation. What can I do physically every day or every second day to help boost the recreation part of my square? So knowing that actually you can also get 3 squares activated at any one time. You could go for a walk with a friend into the forest. So that might include recreation, spiritual, and friends. So again, getting really conscious of how we can bring balance to our lives in order to equip ourselves to deal with the struggles that we're facing. So I hope you found this helpful. Thanks very much.